Mi gente, you already know who it is. It's Danny Limelight. And I need all of you to subscribe to According to Woods podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and all other platforms.
What's good, party people? This is According to Woods, and I have the honor and privilege of talking to the owner of Bullpen Submission Series, as well as TorroTech MMA, and the general manager of 10 Planet Tucson. She is a mixed martial artist. She is a manager of stars. She's the one and only Mercedes White. Mercedes, what's going on?
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. I mean, it's awesome to have you on because it's like you've been doing so much kick-ass shit, and it's just like it's cool because people need a lot of kick-ass shit right now.
We need some fun shit, really.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that too. That too.
And reality. Just reality. Make that what it is.
Man, it hasn't it been a weird one? Like I have lost all this concept of time and space. I don't know. It's all weird.
Yeah,
it's all weird.
I just Jiu Jitsu and MMA dimension and go from there.
Yeah, no, 100%. Which I guess, I mean, go from here has to have an origin point, right? And every hero has to, have kind of an origin story. So, how did you kind of come into like combat sports?
Oh wow. I've been in combat sports for 21 years now. I started at 19 as a ring girl for the local tough man competitions. And 21 years ago, being the ring was not the cool thing. You'd walk around and the wives would be slapping their husbands and shit. So I just that aspect anymore. And then I just started with massage school. I started training at Apex under Joey Rivera. Then it just kind of blew up from there. I worked for an organization as the therapist, as a promoter, sponsorships for organizations, and just sponsorships for fighters. So it just kind of evolved from there.
I love it, and it's funny because I believe Libby Canella out here, she's based in San Diego, but also started out as a ring girl. She now is like the owner of Fearless Women MMA. And, it's funny because a lot of people might look at that kind of avenue as an entry to MMA and kind of dismiss it, right? I mean, look no further than Cub Swanson is just like, oh, everybody wants to be this like journalist and whatever. And, you're not whatever, but his wife was a ring card girl herself. So it's kind of weird. But I mean, you took that entry, and basically made it your business, made it your calling.
I wanted to be a fighter, but my boss kept telling me he would not be okay with me getting my face punched. So I had to keep going around the corner to be involved because it was something that I was just really passionate about. And I just had all these other ways, but I also had a knack for promoting shit because I worked at a strip club for so long that, I mean, come on, it was before Facebook where these girls could be like advertising their business. No, it was prehistoric days we were doing this. So
I remember those. When you said tough man, I was like, yo, when people look at like, oh, MMA as like brutal now, I'm like, oh, no, you didn't see the shit that used to be.
What I mean by tough man back then, we were in the TCC. We were riding as the ring girls. First of all, we had schoolgirl skirts on, atrocious, and bikini tops, which the wives were already fucking pissed about. And then they rode us in on the back of Harley Davidsons. And we came in from the back, did a full lap around the smallest ring you've ever seen because it was like this big in a huge TCC. And then they rode us out. And then they made sure to tell us, when you get into the ring, because you have to get in the ropes, right? Please make sure you go into the second ropes, and then I want a full bend from the hips.
Wow.
And then I need you to then duck under and then pull the back leg up. So that way your skirt could give that as you were going under.
Yeah, the shit doesn't really age well, right? I mean,
it's fantastic. Stop it. You can the fuck you. I'm going to say it because it was me and it was my story. Yes, it happened.
Yeah.
But It is.
No, 100%. It's funny because like if riding on the back of a Harley and being able to promote that wasn't enough. It was just like we need a little bit more TNA, right? And also was the schoolgirl was this kind of like Britney Spears inspired?
God, I don't know. I mean, God, when was she out? It probably could have been. I was like 21 at the time, so it's possible, but at least I was 21 at the time.
Hey, you gotta make it. You gotta make it. But I mean,
What foot the door guy?
no, no. Obviously, you said you had a knack for promoting pretty early on, right? And
That
I mean,
caught
what?
slipping was promoting because I was working for a local organization and I was selling their sponsorships and I had really good tickets. I had the front row, I had all the best seats, and he happened to be on that card and he got in my DMs and he's like, "How come you have the front row seats?" And I was like, "I work for the organization." So then he asked me what else I do. And I was like, "Oh, I sell sponsorships and da da da." And he's like, "Well, can you get me some sponsors?" And I was like, "Well, who are you?" Unbeknownst to me, I'd actually been around him since he was 12 years old, but that's so much of a longer story for another time and place. But I was like, "Well, who the fuck are you?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm on this card, blah, blah, blah." Hypes himself up because he thinks he's cool. I get him like $1,500 in sponsors. And for 12, 13 years ago, $1,500 for, I think it might have been a second pro fight, was like retarded money. And I was like, okay. And then 2 weeks out from the fight, he pulled out. And I was like, oh, you're a bitch. So I gave his money to one of my amateur buddies and he came out to some like Britney Spears song, was screaming all the way out to the cage like Diego Sanchez, yes, yes, yes. Beats this dude in like 35 seconds and takes home that $1,500 cash. He actually ended up making more than any of the pro fighters on the card.
Wow.
So, and that's Andy Perez, and he's actually a really good pro MMA fighter now, and he's fought from heavyweight to bantamweight. That dude's legit. Look him up.
Wait, from heavyweight to bantamweight?
Yes, his name is Andy Golden Boy Perez out of Tucson, Arizona.
Mm.
Amateur fighter at World Fighting Federation. He got to take Burchek's $1,500 and cash the check. And he's amazing now. I think he did the first bare knuckle MMA fight. It was like during quarantine. I think it was he got to be on that card.
Well, like in Mississippi or somewhere, right? Somewhere.
Yeah, it was so crazy. Yeah, he was on that card.
That's incredible. When you sing like 1,500 for like that time, I know people that might be flying out or might have sold like, oh, maybe $2,000 worth of tickets, in their hometown for a supposed reputable organization, the feeder to the UFC, and that's essentially what they made was 1,500, and sold 800 or $800 worth of tickets. So you do the math. That's not much.
Getting money now in this landscape for somebody fighting for PFL versus an Olympic champion. That's where we're at with the sponsorship arena. There's no return on investments anymore. So you have to be really creative, which is like, we was just talking about you before I got on the phone with Nictoli Kalinok. She was saying how much she loves you and like,
oh, that's my sister right there. Oh, I love her. Her and Travis, I just love them.
Did you see that she came out with a comic?
No, did it? Wait. No, I didn't see it. Oh my gosh.
Okay, it's called Mexicana, and it's beautifully done.
Oh yes, I actually have one.
It's
I did have one.
Well, just got off a meeting because she's going to sponsor Brittany Elkin for Brittany's fight June 10th for the PFL versus Clarissa Shields. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I manage Brittany Elkin. She's a queen. So we were just talking about that. And I was like, I gotta let you go. I'm going on According to Woods. She's like, what? I love you. So she's just saying how much she loves doing interviews with you. But I just connected her with Cruise Combat. So she's gonna turn her comic book into jujitsu gear for us with the visuals, because I know you saw the visuals on those comics. They're
Yeah.
stunning, and girls don't, or people don't get this kind of gear look. So I'm really stoked to have this gear line come out of Cruise Combat. And then Brittany Elkin is going to not only be working with her, Nick DeLee is going to start mentoring her for Brittany's own comic line, because Brittany has her own doodle book that she does for fight time. So it's like leading up to fight camp. It's like her experiences during the fight, but in a comic book thread. So Nick DeLee is going to be guiding and mentoring her into creating her comic book. And then hopefully we can go and have like maybe like a Comic-Con / Jiu-Jitsu festival at the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia. Cause they jumped on to sponsor. Huge. So we're just going to do a bunch of crazy things this summer.
I fucking love it. Oh man, I love Nick DeLee, and shout out to Jillian Alexio, who's the artist behind Miss Mexica's comic. Can't wait.
It's so pretty.
2300, right? I'm
Yeah.
a wrestling fan. This is an old school Undertaker shirt before he was the Undertaker. That shit is ECW Arena to me.
Huh?
ECW Arena. That's what that is. It's the ECW fucking kendo sticks and.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. You want to know?
WWE event there. Let's do our own pro wrestling event, but we pick jiu-jitsu and former MMA fighters. We could set the whole card up at the 2300 Arena. Then Nick DeLee can have her comic. Brittany can debut her comic, but we can hold our own celebrity-ish pro wrestling event.
Oh, I'm fucking so in.
My face blew the fuck up right now.
I'm in. Because, I mean, look at what Josh Barnett has done with Bloodsport, kind of combining. Yeah, right? It's fucking amazing.
He would come. And you know who else go there? Gina Manzani. And her brother. Have you seen them do their skit together?
I've seen a couple things on Instagram.
So they're a pair together. So those two is a tag team championships. I don't know who can take on Gina and her brother. Then you got Kiara. She's already got all of those experiences.
Yeah.
Oh man, we got a whole card. Brittany, who does Brittany get to face? We got how many Amazons do we got to play with?
Karen Tran is what I'm going to bet, because she actually just competed at Bloodsport, the last incarnation in Ybor City, Florida. Yeah, she's a black belt under, I'm blanking on the name. Good Lord. Oh, but she's a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu. And it's a huge one here out in LA. Good God. Brazilian. Fuck. This one I can see. I want to, Cobrina. She's a Cobrina black belt. There you go. Give me a second. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, this shit is fun. No, and just a little bit of funny history about
that.
Yeah, no, but here's a little bit of fun history, right? So do you remember a couple weeks ago, less than a month ago, a guy got his finger ripped off, right, at CFFC, right? So that happened at the ECW Arena with none other than CM Punk doing commentary. Again, it's a wonderful time to be alive. I'm just saying. CM Punk commentating MMA at the ECW Arena where a guy loses his finger.
They did a meme with my 3-year-old son in a gi, and then they put it next to CM Punk, and they were like, CM Punk's future opponent. My son is obsessed with pro wrestling. We went to the what's the one where they had the all girls Royal Rumble up in Phoenix?
Isn't it WrestleMania, wasn't it?
Yeah, the all girls. We saw that. And I'm gonna tell you what, when those ladies started coming out, my old ass was like, because I remember when I started watching wrestling on Sundays with my grandfather, and China or the wives were really the only thing I had to look to as a woman. Or China, we got China, or that was it. And now we have so many like badass women in wrestling.
Oh my God. Like they had WrestleMania 2 nights for the second or third time in a row this year. But it was actually the first night was headlined by two African American women for its and
Let your glow, get your glow on, girl. Yes, I know.
just saying
It's
and but
I'm
that's
so proud. The first time, oh my God, what is her name? Fuck. She does all of the marketing. God damn it, Leslie Smith.
really
So listen, the first time I met her at Lion Fights, I was like, "Hi, hi, thank you for all you do for women's MMA." I'm like, I don't get befuddled by any of the men in the sport, and I'm sorry that because of the way Burcheck's family is. They don't dick ride anybody. They don't get no respect in the family. Nobody within the family gets respect. Anthony's little brother, the first Christmas we were together, Anthony's calling me. They're telling me I'm not a pro. I'm this. I suck. This is his little brother. So when it comes to the guys in the sport, I got Ray Seffo as my corner man. That's as high up there as it gets. There's no one better than that. So anything above that, okay, maybe. But this is where I start at. And if you're not starting there, I don't give a fuck. But the women power thing is really what gets me. Because like the first time I met Nick DeLee, I had to spar her. And I was 190 pounds starting my fight camp. And I was at Extreme Couture. And I just sparred Gina, who kicked me in the fucking crotch and bruised me. And then I sparred, another little girl, one of Misha's friends from Washington. And then it was Nick. And that little savage was trying to fuck me up. And she's just weighed much less than me. And she was just fucking me up. And I was like, oh my God, who is that? I really like her. I like how she tried to beat my ass all like, so that's how we started.
Isn't that awesome, right? Nowhere else can a friend
like, yes.
Yeah, like a burgeoning friendship, almost a sisterhood, a brotherhood happens when you punch each other in the genitals and just like, oh, all right, cool.
That's a lot. Burcheck sparred was I kicked him in the nuts, and when he went like this to like do the bend over, as soon as he bent over, I hit that 2 down the pipe. I was like, bah! It didn't work out well when he sat back up because I got a full-on soccer kick after that. But that's self in our house.
That's a little bit of a non-traditional take on the first come love, first come next come marriage, and then the babies in the baby carriage euphemism.
Partners, we just beat ourselves to the love part. The first time I sparred him, he tried to get me to fucking quit. That was literally his concept. I didn't belong there. Why are you taking up my cage time? Let's see what you got. And I didn't quit. And then he sent in Andy Perez second, and Andy weighed about 220 at the time. And Andy hit me with a super hard leg kick on the thigh. And he's like, oh, sorry. And Anthony's on the outside of the cage. Don't fucking apologize to her. Kick her harder. Yeah, that's what I grew up with.
And now you guys are married.
Now I get to kick him in the balls and punch him in the face. And when he wonders why, why?
My wife probably wants to do that to me more often than not. I know a kind of a good, like that motion. Yeah, just
flinch and make everybody think your wife beats you.
Well, yeah, no, not. I mean, I call her 10,000 tiny fists because, like, she does. You remember, like, I think it was the sumo guy in Street Fighter, and just kind of like that. That's my wife, and her.
Just some Mortal Kombat, pretty legit.
Yeah, but then they just all come at you, and I'm just like, hey.
You get your Wang Chung on.
No, she's great, but she doesn't train. She just like she's the one where like I think I was sparring when I first started in jiu-jitsu. I got tossed by like a 145-pound girl, right? Well, and I landed at my wife's feet as she's looking on and like, that's frustrating. You're sure you want to do this, right? I was like, yeah. Now, mind you, this gal was Julia Avila, and she's now with the UFC, right? So, I mean, you take that, but that just shows how cool jiu-jitsu is.
By other people, it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Yeah.
something about looking over when I'm rolling with someone's husband and then looking at the wife and knowing how much shit he's been giving her for that week. And I'm like, I got you. It's okay. Although, no, I made that poor mistake the other day. I was rolling with one of the wives and I looked over at her husband, Johnny, because we like always talk shit to each other during rolls. So I looked at Johnny, but he just looked way excited to have this dude's back. And I'm like, I look over and I'm giggling inside because he's just really excited for this rear naked choke. And as I'm looking at him, his wife stuffs my head down and fly traps me. And I'm like, God, fuck. I'm like, see, to fight my way out of her ass and then shit up.
You know what? There's only one other person that is like, I'm going to get your husband for you that I know. That
We literally put
Don Gonzalez.
husbands in the women's group. We have a women's chat group.
Mm-hmm.
Like if one of the, because we have so many husbands and wives that train with us. Like I'm it's seriously so many, like two hands of families, right? So in the women's chat group, if someone's being a shithead, well, Willie was blah 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 blah, and I'm like, I got you, girl, don't worry. Or Heather, because Heather's the black belt, and the best thing is she's 135 pounds soaking wet, and we just send her out to hit list everybody. Burchek, she's my hitman. I'm like, oh yeah. I'm all, Heather, can you roll a little bit harder with my husband today? And then she just goes and just murders him.
Well, there's a cool little bit of accountability that happens, right? And that's kind of what you need in this like wild world of combat sports.
Well, yeah, or this wild world in general. You have to create your little pods.
Well, but again, for somebody who started out as a ring girl, right? And, women to an extent, were an afterthought, right? And now having this all female chat group, do you kind of look back and wonder, like, holy shit, this is my life? Like, and I helped it along. You're a pioneer in many ways.
Um, it's weird that you say that because I didn't want any of it. I can't stand girls. They drive me fucking crazy. I grew up with boys. I wanted nothing but sons. Then I had my daughters, and then my perspective started to change a little bit. But it was actually Jiu Jitsu that helped me be better with women and trust them in my habitat and my space and cultivate these friendships and relationships with them. And then seeing this true parts of this journey with them, and then seeing my daughter come up in jiu-jitsu and wrestling. My daughter's one of the first women to represent Arizona at a USA Wrestling State tournament in history. My daughter is one of the first placers in history for Arizona. My niece Audrey is the first state U.S. wrestling champion for Arizona for Sunnyside High School. Those are the things that do get me. And it is eye-opening that while we do have this chat room that sometimes drives me fucking because I can't stand ladies and shit at the same time. And it's so cool that we can create another level of, and it's more so us, like we're more than jiu-jitsu. Like, for example, our little group, because of COVID, like my gym never closed. We had orders to close. We were black tarping it. I'm sorry, but I have too many first responders and too many people not stay open for their mental health. It's just not going to happen. My husband was willing to lose everything to keep everything. But within that time, in that year, our individuals, we had a lot of small business owners. We had small business blossom during that time. Like one of the girls was a baker, got a whole baked business that sells out every week. The other girl, she does spicy pickles and t-shirts. But her t-shirt, when I went to UFC last week, Angela Hill and Jessica Penny were like, ooh, that shirt's cute. And it's like my Tough Girls Club, Tucson, Arizona. But the thing right here was like, and they just thought that was the funniest thing, right? So I'm boasting my girlfriend, and now my girl, like, it's just about that. We've created businesses, kava bars, Whitney and the kava bar, that sustained through a whole quarantine. Why? Because our little community habitat made sure that they could stay afloat. Why? So that every other Friday I go and do comedy night, or Sunday night I have my Sunday fun days. But she's cultivated things like Kava Bar now is comedy night. Guess who does comedy now? I now do comedy, and a couple of my other students do comedy. Why? Because she cultivates those things. Washing each other's hands.
That's an amazing, kind of creative renaissance because I mean, jujitsu in itself is an expression of a multitude of, artistic, right?
Right.
But then you get these other kind of variables. Had Whitney on, because I was absolutely intrigued, especially I'm half Fijian, right? So we have like kava. I'm half Fijian, right? So like I've ran away from it for like the last 2 years because you've tried kava, not the greatest thing, all right? Maybe I'm way too Americanized, but I was just like the fact that like non-Polynesian people were sitting around like drinking kava. I was like, what in the fuck is that?
I love it. It helps. She educated me tremendously on it. I used to have to, take anxiety, depression medications before, obviously going to the cannabis route. But even sometimes the cannabis route doesn't really center and focus or heart. And like when you're feeling those weirdest, and you know what? I hate drinking. I don't like drinking. I don't like the way it makes me feel. I don't like going out and getting drunk. But let me have a double kava with a little. When she makes me this one pink drink with the prickly pear, and it's like kava plus like kava distillate, and it may have tasted like you ate an 8-ball, but let me tell you what, it feels like you drink a 6-pack in a good way. And I'm
Wow.
like, oh, great, I'm great. And then I just smoke the rest of the way home, and then we're good. But now she's got me on kratom, and I do this kratom ginger beer drink that she makes me. Oh, it's so good. And then I do that before practice or jujitsu, and I like that. The energy. It's like that one's more like a tea with a little
Yeah.
bit of.
It's and that's another cool thing, right? Just expanding capacities. Jiu-jitsu will have you do that, right? Business opportunities, or it'll, ways to recover, right? And these are things that were taboo. I remember when I first started jiu-jitsu, oh man, this had to be like 2012, 2013, and there was a guy smoking a joint, and then my coach was like, that guy, that one, right? And now everybody's got a 180, and it's so helpful, especially with pharmaceutical. Then they don't heal people; it's repeat business, recurring, customers essentially. So it's just cool that these, I mean, literally things that have been around since before man are kind of being reutilized and repurposed.
I was just telling my husband in my BoxyCharm that he gets me every month. It's like a makeup box. I get like 6 things a month. There's a serum in my box, and it's cannabis sativa oil for your face.
Wow.
And I was like, we're there in a commercialized box that goes to a million people. We have cannabis sativa oil, and it was amazing. And I was like, oh, because I don't like pills. I don't like drinking. I don't even take ibuprofen. It's CBD, THC, collagen, whole foods, stuff like that. I just don't do any of the other stuff. The other stuff's poison. So.
Yeah, no, 100%. Which again, so like starting off as a ring card girl, right, and then getting to extreme couture, there has to be kind of like this time in between those two things, right? Or did you kind of know, like watching the Top Man, hey, I might want to fucking kick ass too?
Oh, I knew from a long time that I wanted to do that, but I really delved into MMA after I was like going to private training sessions with an MMA fighter. He would do my personal training, right? That's their side hustle. And he was my friend Joey, and I would start coming in with like, marks on my face, and he's like, "What's up with your face?" He's from Jersey. "What's up with your face? Why are you coming in here with those things on your face?" And I'd be like, and he's like, "No, we need to teach you how to punch." So it started there. And then he would gas me up, but his gas ups were different, this is my, and that's really where it was. And then I did a smoker. But again, the only reason why I did any of it, like I said, I wanted to do these things, but none of my coaches took me seriously because of what there was a lot of capitalization of we're going to make so much money off of this and this and that. He didn't take me seriously as an athlete. And I saw Misha Tate in Strikeforce at Strikeforce Challengers in Phoenix. And again, Perez is on that card. He gets to go and be amateur on the card with Misha. My dudes are so excited. Apex MMA is representing. And I was like, I can do that. I can do that. You people keep telling me I can't do that because of this, and I'm going to do that. And then I accidentally took Anthony Burchek's wrestling class at Apex because I thought it was the medicine ball boxing class. And I'm like, why am I crawling across this guy's body like a scarecrow? What the fuck class is this?
No, we're not going out there.
And it sucked.
I love it. I love it. Now,
Private lessons for Jiu Jitsu. Obviously, working from guard immediately. And then my first smoker, and he cornered me for my first smoker. That's on YouTube. My first smoke is so bad. I had her up against the gate. I had a head and just body punching, right? And then for some reason, I thought it would be cool to slowly pull just like this. And we finished the round with her on top, and us both just like this, top and bottom. So bad. And then I took a fight on 2 weeks' notice for Tough Enough when Jeff Meyer and Barry was still alive. My friend Shasta McMurray, who I had actually managed her at the time. I was managing her when I owned Luther Elite MMA management company. She was one of my fighters, and she goes, "Hey, I just got a short notice match. It's for the Knockout for Cancer event at the Palms Casino. You'll be the only girls on the card against Danielle Mack." I'm like, fuck it, let's go. Took the fight on very short notice, drove up to Vegas, had everything going, showed up to Extreme Couture to weigh in, and she no-showed. So I'm like, how do you no-show on kids with cancer? But it was actually her coach, and at that time, husband. So we rebooked it for their Feasty Brawl event. And that was the card that Courtney Casey was on, and I was managing her. Liebarger, like they had a lot of great women on the card. Cummings, a lot of, I think Boogeyman might have even been on that card too. I have to look at that card. It was a Thanksgiving Feasty Brawl event. And then I got to debut at South Point, a fucking horse arena, huge in Vegas. And we walked to the venue, and Anthony looks around and he's like, "This is bigger than any fucking venue I've ever fought in." Mom. Because he was booked a week later to fight at Jackson's MMA series against Matt Leva. And so we walk into this big ass arena. I'm like, because that's where we're at. And I did. I fought Daniel Mack. We went all 3 rounds. It was an amazing fight. It was an amazing experience. And then after that, everything just exploded. He fought a week later at Jackson's MMA series. He then got signed to the MFC. I was supposed to fight the next Tough Enough against Schaefer. Ronda. Nope. Ronda's best friend.
Oh, Marina Shafir.
Her debut. I was supposed to be her debut. And I went in for sparring, and I sparred Brenna Larkin because I managed her too, and she was another Tough Enough champion. And we were sparring, and then like Ed West was like, "We're gonna call you the zombie because you just fucking go forward." And I just kept taking these body kicks, right? Boom! She just kept body kicking the shit out of me. And I just kept coming forward because The next day for sparring, because we were weird and we would spar every day because that's what we were doing back then. I just had a weird feeling, so I went to the dollar store next door and grabbed a pregnancy test. And I took a pregnancy test in the bathroom, and I was pregnant with our son, Jet. So the Jackson's MMA event and my fight 1 week apart brought on the victory, baby. And I had to pull out of the fight with Marina. And then the girl I beat got to fight Marina. And it was like a standing rear naked choke. I wanted to fucking pull my face off. I was so pissed. But, there's that.
It was nice.
Her in wrestling. I'm such a huge fan of them. And the 4 horsewomen in wrestling, like, dude, I get so hype. So hype. Yes.
Yeah, it's funny because now Marina Marina's, married to Roderick Strong, who's,
Kid,
like, it's
dude.
so, like three, but, everybody but Ronda, right? You look at, Shayna's tearing it up, Shayna Baszler, right? Then you've got Marina and Justman kind of in NXT, and they're all kind of doing
You've
amazing.
Duke.
Really?
And Duke is a part of that. Tall, blonde. Yeah, she's been a part of their little the storyline they did on Divas. They did a whole storyline on them.
Mm-hmm.
My son's that he watches Divas, Bellas, and all the shows so that he knows all the backstories.
Wow, he's a better wrestling fan than I,
He
because
can tell
it's like,
you stats. He could give you all the stats. It's crazy.
is that the one that you were pregnant with?
He's an MMA baby all day. He was
So,
born, and then Anthony 3 days later to fight for the MFC title.
wow.
They called me and they're like, Casey Kenny, because Casey Kenny went to go corner Anthony for his title fight. Casey Kenny was in the room when I had my baby. He actually made my water break because they went out into the lobby to go to the vending machine to get snacks. And it was him, Casey Kenny, Lenny Wong, and Ryan Menahuni. They were in the lobby getting snacks, and Lenny farted really loud, like one of those long, pitchy ones.
Mm-hmm.
And they're giggling, but then they turn around and there's this like poor family grieving for whatever's inside, and they're all sad, but they're over here giggling about farts. So they come back into the room. It's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. We're exhausted. I've been in labor since 5 p.m. and they're telling me the story. So I'm giggling so hard because just farts are funny to me. I enjoy it. That I break my water, and all of a sudden this water starts, like someone took a picture and was like, and then I looked at everybody like, you get out, you get the nurse, we got to get this shit going. So yeah, Casey Kenny was there when my water broke, and then he's calling me after the last sauna sit for the MFC title. And he's like, we've made weight. I have fallen asleep sitting straight up with a baby in my arms on the couch. I have no idea what fucking time it is. I don't know what the fuck's going on. And I'm like, what do you mean we've made weight? He's already weighed in? We're good? Like, and he's no. It's 12 o'clock. He made weight. Like, we're ready to go. I'm like, oh, fuck, okay. So that kid who had no MMA experience really at the time, just wrestling, he was Anthony's training partner for that whole camp.
Wow.
Anthony with Lenny, who had very no wrestling he was just the guy at the gym, right? Lenny was the guy at the gym. I had to call Hayabusa and go, hey, can you please corner my husband for his world title? So you have Hayabusa Harris as a call-in, and he brought the nurse for the IV. Way to fucking come up. Casey Kenny, who just fought Dominic Cruz, how many years later? Mm-hmm. And then Lenny, strength and conditioning guy, cornering you for a world title, and you're 4 days ago, you're like in a hospital birthing a baby. He wasn't, but I was. But like, that's what we do. Oh yeah, like that's what we do.
Do you look back and just go like, fuck, man, that's crazy?
I had a mouth guard sponsor go, why are you talking to me about Anthony's mouth guard? I just saw on Instagram labor. And I said, well, fucking work's not going to stop. So I need to get this mouth taken care of before this next action. So let's get it popping. Like I had Casey take him, let him sleep at the hospital. I was like, okay, he's got to go do his road work. Take him to do his road work and take him home. We just buried our brother the days after the baby was born. We had a death in the family of brother, his best friend. Like, he went out there and met his ass. So like, we do shit, and I don't even know how we do shit. I just don't. But we've been doing it for 10 years together, and I can't.
Ah, man, that's such inspirational shit. It's a borderline like inspiration, insanity. Either way, it's fucking worked. It's worked.
So with that, we're just doing weird shit, together, building gyms and promotions and going on this weird ride and taking the kids.
Do you have a favorite moment of the whole fucking journey? I mean, that one was pretty hard to top, but
Yeah, and it's fun. We're in Japan, in Tokyo, walking outside of the hotel, and was in the Risen bantamweight tournament, and Steph walking with us, and we go outside to like what looks like the smallest old timey English car, and Bob Sapp is sitting in the seat.
whoa.
Cepho goes up to the window, and it's a very small car, so Ray Cepho has to drop many levels. This is just one of my favorite moments. Ray drops down, so I'm into the window and goes like this to Bob, and he goes, and then you see Bob Sapp in the smallest compact car you've ever seen in your life make the fastest turn this way and go, and
Billionaire Bob, man. That's what they call that dude. Like,
him how terrified he was to see Ray Cepho on the other side of that. It's like you really look forward to scaring men for that reason, because the fear. I love terrifying Anthony. His fear faces get every time. You just have to after that.
do the kids do it back to him?
They try to throw each other in bushes.
Oh,
They're way worse. My 13-year-old son there's one bush right before the house, and they're trying to get like double underhooks and throw somebody. There's two bushes that if I'm always looking at who's going to make it past the bush, I literally have to get mad and be like, somebody's getting hurt. No one's going to be able to compete. Like, that's the shit I got to deal with.
and then in addition to that, like you're managing businesses, and then you're the manager for fighters too, which I mean, it's not an easy thing to do. And
No,
you've been around fighters and weight cuts, not fun.
yeah, I keep it very small because I'm a very in manager. I'm the one that's with you, does all your paperwork. I cook all your food. I make sure that you're eating what you need to be eating. I'm putting your bath together. I literally am from top to bottom. A lot of managers, I'll go out and I see, oh, you're managed by them, you're managed by, but you're not your manager. I'm more like a concierge at that point, you know. Like my husband doesn't have to do shit. I don't know if you saw our live videos of him cutting weight, but he gets the VIP treatment. Like, and if his food's fucked up, I'm the one texting the organization. I'm like, where's this? Where's this? I need this. I need that. I'm talking to the people, so you can just be cutting weight, you know. But I have now. I retired for the last few years to focus on bullpen and my promotion, but Brittany Elkin asked, and actually she gave me an opportunity, and her Missy, to compete on Fight to Win as a blue belt, and you know that at the time was unheard of. So you know, I always repay them, take care of me. So Brittany came to me. She had this opportunity to fight Clarissa Shields, to debut Clarissa into the PFL. And she's the one that debuted Kayla Harris into the PFL too. So, you know, like this is a huge opportunity for Brittany to display her jiu-jitsu and just her style in general. She's training out of Unity. She's out of 10th Planet Bethlehem right now. She's made a huge camp change. I think this is just her time to upset the world right now. I know Clarissa is training at Jackson's MMA, but there's just no amount of ground that she could be taught that's going to save her from the violence that is Brittany. Once that woman gets a hold of you, it is not a good time. Have Andrew Slater. He's going to make his pro debut May 16th at Fury Fighting in Houston, Texas. And he's out of TorroTech. He's out of our gym. And then we did have a short notice fight, which I'm kind of disappointed about because we were supposed to be flying to Orlando tomorrow. I got a call from CES for John Gotti III. His opponent had fallen out. So that's for the April 30th card. So we, without hesitation, signed the contract. We already sent our meds over to be approved by the Florida. You know what I mean? Like we were ready. And then we're like, okay, you know, when can we start marketing? When can we start? Oh, hold on. Let me wait for the contract to come back. And injured magic. So hopefully maybe they can reschedule that. Maybe he won't be so hurt on the next card. And he can have a for sure matchup, somebody that was willing to fight him on 3 days notice, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Want to be about that life, right? I mean, Yeah.
Right. Changing all day. But also big things coming. June 27th, we're bringing Nikki Rodriguez out with one seminars, one Jiu Jitsu seminars and leg locker. We're bringing Nikki Rodriguez to Tucson, Arizona, June 20th. Yeah. So yeah, that's gonna be spicy. I hope a lot of the wrestling heavy people come out. There's very wrestling. It's gonna be an opportunity for get some body lock and just brushy style take down jujitsu. And I mean, he might probably just do all leg locks and then just be like horsepower on those thighs. And then what else? Oh, Cruise Combat and I have teamed up. We are going to put on the Cruise Combat Warehouse in Dallas, Texas, featuring by Anthony Burchek, but Bullpen Submission Series and Cruise Combat in July. We're going to blow Texas up.
Yeehaw, motherfuckers, is what I gotta say.
I'm excited.
Jeez. And Don McGuire of the Fighters Way says, Big Bird, Brittany, Linda Elkins rocks, and
Yeah.
Elkins will destroy Clarissa Shields, definitely.
Thank you, Don. Appreciate the support.
Yeah, man. It's crazy, right? Like these, I mean, high profile fights and what have you. One thing I want to ask, right? Because I asked Anthony, but his re-entry to the UFC, right? It was against his training partner, your guys' friend, and what was that like for you on this side of it? Because I know he and Gustavo Lopez essentially made their like, okay, this is just what we're going to do, whatever. But as somebody who knows the both of them, kind of sitting back on the sidelines, and you know what it means for both of them, like, how was your reaction to it?
Well, in addition to Gustavo being very close training partners with Anthony, Gustavo, my first training partners, he was one of my first jiu-jitsu partners when I would go to Extreme, because obviously size-wise, it's easier for him to work with me. So he's taught me so much. When it came through, we were like in the shower, and it came through, and like my thought passed over me. I remember Gustavo got his fight on 3 days notice, and I just know the other half of the fight game. Anybody can tell you no. They can pitch Anthony to Gustavo, and Gustavo still has the right to say, no, I don't want to fight him. And Gustavo had the courtesy to text Anthony and say, hey, brother, it's time. I cried. I also, and I will say this with all honesty, as my husband, and I told this to his face, it was Gustavo's fight to win. It was him to win. He put in so much work and so much effort into his camp, while my husband gave him a lot to work with on 3 days. My husband was drinking like a eternity 2 days before that. He was in drag on Halloween. Had given up. We had an argument with him the week before about give up. He was like, fuck this, fuck it, I'm done. Like, we literally got an actual argument. And it is me hyping him up and him saying, fuck you, I'm done.
Wow.
And he's like, fuck this, I'm back to being a hood rat. And then he gets a call. And I'm like, you get your shit together, and you go out there, you do whatever the fuck. But then the worst part about it, I can't be there, because it's the same day as a bullpen event. And I got scrapplers in the world about to Quentin Rosenwig, Kyle Burrs. I have all these amazing men coming out to compete for me. And now I got to keep my head in the game to focus on my husband. I got him calling me about weight cut. No one's babysitting him. No one checked in with him during, he was by himself. Just all that was terrible. And then I'm filming. Not only do I run my own event, from weighing you in, setting the brackets, doing everything, I film you. I'm the one filming. I'm the one in there with the porn angles. That's me.
Wow.
I got things dropping down in my window, like the day before him saying, oh, they saw the venous anomaly in my brain and they sent me for an MRI. They think I'm having an aneurysm. I'm like, oh, well, fucking great. This is what I gotta do. Should I leave? Are you gonna die? And then I'm like coming off a high from my event, right? The event went crazy. I had a team make $670 in Venmo tips, and they didn't even win. And I'm like, so we sit down, and it's me, Q, Adrian Nez, and one of my students, because I don't like watching fights in front of people. I hate it when I watch him. It drives me crazy. And now I watch this fight, and as soon as Gustavo puts the choke on, I'm like, he's not going to tap to that. Casey says we don't tap, we go to sleep. And sure as shit, because Gus knows, we all know it's the protocol. Casey teaches Gus, teaches me, teaches Burchek. Go to sleep.
Yeah.
And then he wakes up with that big fucking dorky smile, and I'm like, and the only thing I could be happy for is, A, we're in. You're healthy. Your boy got a win that he needed. I think that's a win across the board. And the very next morning, Gustavo shows up at my gym with a 6-pack of beer. This video is on my Twitter. It's so with a 6-pack of beer. We were hosting a We Defy seminar for the veterans because it was a Veterans Day, I think, because November 7th. Fight. So we were hosting a We Defy seminar for the veterans, and he came in and rolled us all up. He fucked us all up. Oh my God. I got a video of just being destroyed. I'm like, welcome. I love him.
Oh, that's amazing. That's so amazing. Oh, but the fight business, it ain't nothing like it.
And then this camp, Gustavo's one of his main training partners. So it's like, it's the fight game. You know, like who's Cody Stamen fighting? No, one of the boys is fighting like Marab. Who's fighting Marab?
God, man, I've actually had kind of heat on Marab since he beat Tyrion Ware.
Okay,
so
I came to Extreme for camp with Aljo, and Aljo left him there. So he's still at Extreme, but on sparring day, he came in to spar. His opponent spars at Extreme. So there's like the fucking Hawaiians, Brad Tavares, have to kick him out. And he's like going over to the other guy from Georgia, like, what do I do? And he's like, hey, you gotta leave because I'm not burning this bridge. But I felt so bad. I was like, dang. It was like it's like some old ting 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 warriors. I was like, fuck, the Hawaiians don't fuck around though.
I mean, shit, man. I'm just saying. And Don says, I've interviewed Brittany for years. Thank you, Mercedes. So there you go.
You please, because we got some business to talk.
There you go. See. Now, obviously, I mean, when you kind of look through like this kind of 10-year odyssey, do you have something that you're like the most proud of, or is it just a day to day? Because there's so many projects that would have been left into the ether that you got not only off the ground but like into another stratosphere. What are you most proud of thus far?
My kids. Sorry. No, I really wanted to think about that because like your body of work is great, right? But essentially what I'm trying to build is my version of what I'm handing down to my kids. Back in tribe times, I'm handing down the tribe. If we're looking back in small family line businesses where you take the ranch over or you take the company over, this is my thought process. I have a GED at 25. I rent my home. We just barely got our first decent car after his combate fight. We don't spend any of our money on things like that because it's you know what I mean? Because it's never not a lot. I mean, it's fucking MMA and Jiu Jitsu. You're not getting a ton. We're not Gordon Ryan over here.
Right.
But what we do have, and what I tell my husband when he gets very upset about what's happening or how he feels with his MMA career. And I said, you can be done with MMA today and you still leave and you have a whole business. You have this whole community that you've created so beyond these people being your students. So much beyond these people being your students, being a community. You have that. We've created a promotion, a league that's featured women, has featured the best in sub only, but a league, another thing to leave. But we're creating within the community and trying to give instead of just grab and go. But with that, it's extended to my kids who have a different set of work ethic, who now, because of their work ethic, are getting on a roll during a pandemic while juggling jujitsu, adding gi to his training at 7, been doing no gi this whole time, now has a Brazilian to play with, so now starts gi, now does this, now does that, and he's 7 and still manages his whole day like that. And you're going to tell me as a 24-year-old adult you can't go to practice and work when I have a 7-year-old boy that goes to school for 6 hours a day, does homework, does an hour of practice, still hangs out with his homies, and gets in bed by 9 o'clock. So, like, I'm proud of my kids. I'm proud of my daughter and how she presents herself and represents herself in jiu-jitsu. Wins, losses, wrestling, wins, losses. That's it. Is people that represent me is my pride. So anybody that walks with a Toro head or a Tucson moon, those people are extensions of me. And I want to leave a lineage of just amazing people.
I love it. I love it, and that's what it should be, right? To leave a particular situation or the world, on a broader scale, a little bit better than when you came into it. And that's if we could just do that by a minuscule degree every day, right? Every minute, and optimize our time, much like your son. It's just like I think we'll be better, kind of not nitpicking on what you see on social media or whatever the hell or whatever. It's like you guys are friends. Why don't fight? Don't fight. If you want to fight, glove up.
I just don't invest in that part. It's just what you're investing your time in, and I'll make good investments at this point.
No, 100%. Which, speaking of community, right? Obviously, you and Anthony have both cultivated a family beyond just your bloodline, right? So, but you're essentially a shining example of the village that grew you. So, take as long as you need. Let's get some shout outs out of the way of people that have get you to this point.
Well, Jeff and Barry Meyer of Tough Enough for giving all of us a start and a platform. There's so many of us, especially the women in the sport, Ashley Smith, me, Courtney Casey, Tracy Cortez, Brenna Larkin, all these amazing people. Without Tough Enough, we wouldn't have these opportunities. So I can't wait for them to come back, and I'm really hopeful. Extreme Couture for our 10 years now we've spent together. Eric Nixon, Dennis Davis, Ray Seffo, Tim Lane. I am forever an amazing person at what I do because you guys have led me in the most amazing ways. Casey Halstead for putting up with my shit and also opening 10th Planet Tucson with us and guiding me in business, life, family, everything. That is an absolute genius at business, and he is just everybody at 10th Planet Tucson, Nick Lee, basically everybody who supports what we're doing here. Thank you to Vercast about him supporting me, community. I wouldn't be what I do. So big loss. Yeah.
I love it. Oh, I love it. This is amazing.
Anthony, thank you for allowing me to learn how to be a good manager by having to deal with your shit for so long. I love you. And you're the A1 from day one, original Luther Elite athlete, and you will always set the standard for what things should be like. And I love you, and I'm very proud, and I can't wait to ride this shit to the wheel.
Oh, that's gonna get a Mario Yamasaki for me. That's Not fight to the death. No, not at all. But yeah, more it was at least the hand gesture. I love it. Before we go, obviously Brittany and Clarissa Shields, and not as so much a manager, but as a fight connoisseur, right? And practitioner yourself. How did it go down?
I got Brit by submission at the end of the first.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, I agree.
Surprise Clarissa with the aggression that she has. And while Clarissa has a lot of composure and aggression and knows how to shut that shit down, she still doesn't have all aspects of the second half of that game.
Mm-hmm.
False pretenses about what her grappling might be like, but it's never going to be that good.
Yeah. Oh, that's facts. It's facts. Man, we saw it with Damon Maya, and he tried to be a boxer, right? And this is just flipped on its head.
Like if Brittany can do exactly what Kayla did, we got this going. And you know what I'm talking about game plan wise. Yeah.
And I can't wait. I can't wait. Can it be that time for PFL to kind of kick off that fight?
Thank you, Porus Walker. I did. Oh, speaking of like the Jessica Penne Angela thing.
Yeah.
I saw this shirt on Penne when we were up in Vegas for UFC, and I saw her sitting there, and I was like, "That shirt is dope." Look.
Oh, is a Cobra with tits, isn't it? No bra. No bra. I'm a pun guy. I should know this.
Say it together.
No bra, duh.
Now, what's it called? The no bra.
It's no bra. It's a Cobra with boobs. No bra. Got it.
Cobra.
That's so funny. You're so funny. That's so funny.
So I ordered the tank top, to support, and then they sent like stickers and pins, and their artwork is amazing. So it's at Porus Walker, but amazing art, like really, really amazing, interesting art. So go get your No Bra Cobra.
Damn right, 100%. There you go. There you go.
Wait.
Go for it.
Hold on. Oh, no, he's slow. Never mind. He's hungry, so I have to feed.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, for those who want to see more about what you're doing and TorroTech and 10 Planet Tucson and bullpen submission series, where can they find all of that on social media?
All right. Instagram at Mercedes 10P Tucson. That's mine. At Bullpen Submission Series. At TorroTech MMA. At 10P Tucson. And that's really
Yeah, no, I followed them. You should too. No, Mercedes, it has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for doing this. This is so fun. And thank you guys for joining us here. Okay.
2300 Arena. We're doing this SmackDown.
Damn right we are. Fuck yeah, we are. Just saying. Just saying. So again, thank you guys for joining us here at According to Woods. And if you haven't already done so, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the According to Woods podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. I mean, Mercedes, you're subscribed to the podcast, aren't you?
Yes, on Twitch I am. And I am on Twitch as well.
Yeah, so go follow that too. So yeah, again, if you don't believe her or believe me, and I don't know why you wouldn't, here's for wrestler and MMA fighter, Zeta Zhang.
Hey, this is Zeta Zhang. Make sure you